Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar. I'm Mark Jesus, a digital accessibility specialist at Accessible Web. And during this webinar, we'll be discussing how to proceed with your accessibility audit results. So once audit results have been delivered, you may find yourself wondering where to start. So it can definitely be overwhelming at first glance, but today I'll provide you with a few recommended strategies for determining how to prioritize and tackle the remediation work efficiently. So remediation tasks can be addressed based on the corresponding WCAG version and level. Conformance with WCAG 2.2 AA also means conformance with prior versions of WCAG. So an audit against WCAG 2.2 AA can result in tasks that align with WCAG 2.0 single A and AA, 2.1 single A and AA, and 2.2 single A and 2.2 AA. So for example, if you're legally obligated to comply with WCAG 2.0 single A, but want to prepare for laws being updated in the future and achieve conformance with WCAG 2.2 AA as well, using the strategy, you can meet and advertise conformance for 2.0 single A on the road to reaching out to conformance with 2.2 AA. So in RAMP, you can filter options to select a WCAG rule set. So for example, here you can choose 2.0 single A and only display remediation tasks associated with that rule set. So with this strategy, and assuming that you are attempting to achieve conformance with WCAG 2.2 AA, we suggest addressing the task in the following order, starting with 2.0 single A and then AA, moving on to 2.1 single A and then AA, and moving on to 2.2. So here you can see a screenshot of our filter option in RAMP to filter tasks based on specific WCAG rule set and level. So there are multiple checkboxes here to select from, and you can check off as many or as few as you wish. So another strategy is to address remediation tasks in order of user impact. So some accessibility issues completely prevent access, while others make completing tasks or observing content more difficult but not impossible. So to provide the most drastic enhancements to experience, the barriers should be addressed first. So we want to identify which issues are absolute barriers to access and which make access more difficult. So while we generally don't assign severity levels to each issue, as every failure can affect disabilities differently, our accessibility team can assist in identifying which success criteria present absolute barriers to accessibility and which issues make access more challenging. So with the RAMP Pro Plus plan, you'll have access to a dedicated accessibility specialist. This means you can reach out directly to your specialist for support when you require assistance. So in the provided screenshot, you can see here, the specialist has added the high priority tags to highlight issues that should be addressed first. So just to point out some issues that would be barriers to access, that would be such things like keyword interaction, design patterns for custom widgets, and examples of issues that would make access more difficult would be things like contrast for text, UI components, and visible focus states. So it's also often the case that the same issue is present in multiple areas of a product. So an efficient strategy for addressing these issues is to identify which issues are repeated and address them at the same time. So this way, if the issues are repeated because the content is coming from the same code base, one fix can be applied to remediate multiple issues. So if issues are repeated, but the content does not come from the same code base, your team will know that the same fix can be applied to each and the work will progress more quickly than if a resolution was made for each task and discussed individually. So we want to identify repeated issues. So for example, if you have a modal on multiple pages that fails 412 name role value, you can use the RAMP filter again to sort by success criteria and look for repeated tasks. Or you can reach out to your accessibility specialist and they can help explain any patterns that they were noticed during the audit process. So typically, if I or any of my colleagues notice any repeated issues during the audit, we will email you directly and indicate which repeated issues were, and we'll also export these issues as global failures. So these tasks will also be tagged as global, so you can filter for global issues in RAMP. So the global failures will contain tasks that occur across multiple pages, so we want to filter for each and every single time we see that issue on a web page. So usually the global issues will revolve around contrast, which is a major one due to the website or the theme of the website, design patterns, so UI components missing certain aspects of the design pattern, and missing page titles. Lastly, it's likely that there are some pages or screens within your product that users visit more often than others. So to ensure that pages that users interact with the most are made accessible first, remediation tasks can be addressed on a template by template basis. So we can start by creating a list of templates in order of traffic received and address issues on a template by template basis, starting at the top of the list. So when we deliver audit results, the remediation tasks are tagged with the name of the template they apply to. So in RAMP, use the filters option to choose for the tag for that template you want to work on, and only those remediation tasks will be displayed to you. So here again is a screenshot of the tag filter option, and it's allowing you to choose whether you want to focus on the home page, the About Us page, or any other page you want to view tasks for. So once tasks have been exported to RAMP, the findings from the audit become less relevant or accurate over time if they're not acted upon promptly. And there's a few reasons why here. So first is evolving content. So websites and applications are frequently updated with new content, features, functionality. If the accessibility issues identified during the initial audit are not resolved at the present time, this site might undergo changes, introduce new issues, making the original findings less comprehensive or outdated. Two is WCAG updates. The WCAG, the Web Accessibility Content Guidelines themselves are periodically updated. So the longer it takes to address findings, the greater the risk that compliance requirements may shift or tighten, so leaving the site non-compliant with newer standards. And then lastly, lost context. So the individuals or teams who conducted the audit may lose familiarity with the project or findings over time, making it harder to revisit and address issues efficiently. So how can we help you? So we provide consulting and training services where an accessibility specialist can support you in navigating remediation tasks, prioritizing them effectively, verifying proper implementation, and offering additional guidance tailored to your needs. We have our web accessibility software, which is where the images of the filters were taken from, so our RAMP platform. There are other tools there as well that can help facilitate continuous compliance with updated accessibility standards. We offer accessibility audits for web and mobile applications, where we provide or perform a comprehensive audit for you and share the results with you through RAMP. So that's something you're interested in, that is a service we offer. Additionally, we provide voluntary product accessibility templates, or VPATs, which is a formal report that outlines how a product or service complies with accessibility standards. So thank you all for taking the time to join us for this webinar, and I guess we're ready for some discussion and questions.